It is the RIOT. This is our podcast, and we hope you enjoy it. It was, I would say, lovingly crafted, but it's kind of like when you've been dating somebody for a while and you're not ready for that word, but you're still together.
Oh, I don't know. I think it's the other way, where it had been lovingly crafted, but it's been so long that now it's just comfortable.
It's comfortably crafted?
Yes, exactly. Comfortably crafted with everything.
Yeah, okay. That seems reasonable to me. So, hey, today in the podcast, we talk about Taco Bell. Betty White, who has been alive a long time, and I think it's because she's not going to Taco Bell.
Probably.
We talk movie and game rentals, Obadiah and the chair and the cup and the wrench. Probably the big one is the Home Alone 2 thing really takes over the show for a while.
Oh, you guys had a lot of thoughts, which even as you listen to the podcast, if you have something you want to say about something that we talk about, which might very well be the Home Alone stuff, you can text, even if just as a podcast listener. We'll see that the next time we're in the studio. So text your thoughts at 877-2-RADIO-U so you can be included in it.
We also talk about the new Samsung phone, the Weinermobile, and how many weeks some of us have spent playing video games in 2020.
Thank you guys so much for listening, and we hope everybody has a wonderful weekend. There's no podcast on Monday. We are off that day.
Yeah, we'll be back on Tuesday. You guys have a great time.
Bye.
It's the worst of the riot on RadioU.
So, Nikki, something that I've been discovering over the last couple of days is that if you have to drink something, can we say get to? If you get to drink something out of a cup that doesn't have a lid on it and you're not like accessing it with a straw or through a little hole or something like that.
Yeah.
You drink it a lot faster. That's what I'm finding. Like, I am drinking like way more coffee, soda, whatever. It's so much easier to drink that I talked about it yesterday, but I'm having to start to put some
a barrier,
some safeguards in place, because what I'm noticing is that the natural safeguards where I'm like, oh, I've had enough. Oh, no. Like, they're gone. I don't know where they went. I hope I can get them back.
So you thought the lid was just like for safety features so we don't spill it on everything, but really the lid is a safety for us so that we don't have too much of a good thing, because it does go down a lot faster when there's nothing slowing it down.
Nikki, the lid is for me.
It is. It's not for everything else. It's to protect you from the drink.
Who knew that was a thing, that I was the one that needed the lid?
I feel like there could be some sort of presentation on that. Like, that could be extremely deep in our lives. But really, the lid is just to make sure that your body is safer from all the amazingly great stuff in there that, if you have too much, cannot be good.
Well, and it's one of those things where they, they had to sneak it by me. Like, if they told me it was for me, I would be like, no, forget it. But they've had to have years of me, using it and now discovering for myself, oh my gosh, this whole time it's been for me.
And now you recognize it. Now you have the vision of it. So you got to go get a lid.
Yep. I'm going to have to. Well, that involves a trip upstairs that I'm not willing to take.
You thought they were bad live? Well, just wait until you hear this. The Worst of the Riot podcast with Obadiah and Nikki.
I don't know what your plans are for the weekend, but I can tell you what Betty White's plans are for the weekend.
Was it her birthday the other day, or is it this weekend?
It actually hasn't happened yet. She will turn 99.
Ooh.
On January 17th, so that's Sunday.
That's amazing. That's a very long life right there.
I knew that she was an older lady, but I had no idea that she was she's about to hit 100. 99, you're almost there, right?
Well, did you see all the stuff from like 2020? Everybody was like, no matter what, protect Betty White at all costs, just in case, because of everything else that went on. She was always referenced on like, here comes another bad thing. How's Betty White doing? And she said she's still in good health.
I wonder to what extent, like, she's just become an icon. Like, she's not a person to people anymore. She's an internet meme that's alive and moving around.
And every so many months, there'll be a rumor that she passed away, and it's not true. But then, I'm sure that's a little upsetting for her to just see that suddenly pop up all the time. But she'll be celebrating then this weekend her 99th birthday.
Nikki, I think you and I aren't there yet. But I think at 99, on some level, you're like, man, anytime.
I don't even want to think about it. I mean, yeah, probably.
I mean, you're 99. Like, check the internet. At most, if you're lucky, you might have 16 years left in you. But the odds of that are so low, right?
That's true.
I mean, you're beating odds like mad. Like, she is. I don't know if she lives on her own, but like, she's cogent. She is still funny. She's all these things. She's freaking 99.
She is. To me, it seems like she's very active. But again, I'm basically going it off by internet Betty White, so I don't really know. Like, I don't see real person Betty White all the time. I just don't see her in a lot of stuff. Yeah.
So she's going to celebrate her birthday this week. She said that before COVID, she ran a mile a day every day.
Wow. Yeah. Good for her.
So she says that's been curtailed because of COVID.
Oh, I bet everybody in her life just tells her just stay inside.
Probably. But she said she's going to spend the weekend. She says her biggest thing she's trying to do is get The Pet Set re-released, which was a show that she did. It was like a variety show that had celebrities with their pets.
When did she do that show?
In 1971.
Oh, okay. So, a way older show.
Back in her 50s. In the 70s.
Wow, she really is. She is older. Wow, 99.
Yeah, it's amazing. So, you know what? Happy birthday, Betty White. I hope you have a killer birthday.
Eric's grandmother.
I hope you have a good birthday.
Yeah, Eric's grandmother, she turned 99 right in December. And so now everybody's just like, just get her to 100. When you're so close, you want them to make it to 100.
So, what do you think, they get like a bonus?
No, I just think they're so close. I mean, they're right there that everybody really does just say, just protect them at all costs. Just, get them to 100. So that's like a thing.
So it's like you get to heaven and they're like centenarians over here and the rest of you filthy squabble just go back to your mud.
No, but 100 is an impressive, 99 is an impressive age to live to, but 100, that's impressive as well.
Well, go get him, Betty White, by staying home, masking up, and staying safe.
The definition of insanity is putting the riot on again and again and expecting a better result. It's the worst of the riot on Radio U.
There's this old saying that I've been thinking about for the last day, and I don't even know where I heard it, but they say you're ready to fight the last war by the time you start the new one. And so the idea behind that is that you're always preparing for things, but you're never preparing for the right thing. So you have these brief moments, at least I do. I have these brief moments in life where I'm like, man, I'm killing it. I got it all together. I am so ready. I overcame the whatever circumstance. And then life is like, man, wait till you see this one. You ain't got nothing.
Here's a bit more.
I got another one for you. What do you got? And I've been thinking about that today where I'm just like, man, I don't know. Like, hey, how are you doing? I don't know. What are you doing? I don't know. How are you doing it? I really don't know.
Just better not to say and acknowledge or say to anything. Just say, I don't know.
Yeah. And here's what I have been doing. One, getting comfortable with the idea of, instead of pretending like I know what to do, maybe just getting honest about the fact that I don't. And I'll have to say, if we can get honest with ourselves for a minute and say, hey, I don't have this all together. I don't necessarily know what I'm doing. I mean, you know some of what you're doing. You know how to breathe. You can probably drive a car. We're all very impressed. But there are other places where you're like, whoa, don't have a clue. I'm flying blind here. That's a great time for us to ask God for help, where we could just say, hey, Jesus, flying blind here, man. Word on the street is you're God. Do you have any suggestions? Do you have any, do you know how to fill in the gaps for me here? Man, in a relationship with God, he's going to help you. I'm not saying you're not going to war, because apparently I still am, but he's going to help you be prepared. He's going to help you push through. He's going to help you do life. And God has been my wild card, that even as life continues to mockingly throw things my way, Jesus is still there with me. And he can still help me, and I can still lean on him, emotionally, physically, spiritually. Like, God is there for me, and he can do the same thing for you. So if you need a little help getting through whatever you're currently facing, I'm leaning on God today. So just say, Jesus, I want that. I want you in my life. I want you in my spirit. I want to know what it's like to do things your way. And that's a great place to start. And you're doing great. Just keep it up. Like you and God, you got this, man. I feel it.
It was bad enough the first time around, but now it's worse. Don't believe us? Just keep listening. You'll find out soon enough. This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
Nikki, sit down. You are sitting down. Okay.
But stay seated, right? I'm staying here.
Well, I'm about to completely blow you away with the details I have here. I can get you an Avengers Infinity War Scarlet Witch and Vision action figure set on sale today. Normally $39.99, but at 25% off, I can pass this savings directly on to you at $29.99.
Woo! What a savings. Wow.
Yeah, you feel it, don't you?
You're
getting excited.
Are you looking at the deal of the day sites?
Nikki, I don't have a lot going on right now, so...
So if this is what makes you happy, just let me look at the sites. We have a few deal of the day websites where it's like, oh, this movie's on sale, or I don't know, this protein powder. Like there's all these random things that they'll post, and I can tell you're looking at it.
They've got rainbow colored pens.
Yay.
Does anybody want the whole, it's a set of 18. You got 18 colors. So this actually is a little relevant because you know what happens today? WandaVision hits Disney Plus.
You're right. Is it? And it's just the first episode. So then each week, the next one will come out.
Right. So I want to hold back. You don't want to be too excited about it, but it is posted. It is up. And are you
going to watch it tonight or are you going to watch it this weekend?
Oh, I'm going to watch it as soon as possible. Quite honestly. Reviews have been very mixed. Some people are like, yeah, I love it. Some people aren't. What I like about it is it looks weird, and I think that sounds fun. Mm-hmm. The idea of something that is kind of weird. One of the things I liked about, what was that show, Legion, they did for a while, that was it was kind of an X-Men spinoff, and it was surreal, intentionally so, and that was kind of cool, but I don't know. I guess we'll see. The great thing is, Nikki, I have Disney Plus, and
so you're fine. You can watch it anytime you want to.
Well, yeah, and later today I'm going to have these hot new action figures.
Sure. Oh gosh, if you decide to buy them. But remember, the stuff usually on the sale websites, it's not shipping anytime soon. It's not going to be here soon. But I don't remember how many episodes WandaVision gets, so maybe you'll get it by the end.
So I can have Vision in one hand and Wanda in the other and be like, Vision, don't leave me. Wanda, only you can save us. And it would be fun.
You can act out the show when the episode's over. You can still act it out the rest of the week until the next one.
You don't even need the movie. I'll just be there, reenacting scenes better than the movie, really.
If anybody got up early, did you watch WandaVision yet? If not, if you watch it over the weekend, we're not in on Monday, but text us anytime over the weekend to tell us if you liked it or not. You just text 877 to RadioU, and then we'll see it when we're in on Tuesday.
This is RadioU's Worst of the Riot.
You did it, guys.
What are we clapping for? But it's still good to clap. Yay!
You did it. They're bringing them back.
People were so mad about this. I was disappointed because I used to like to order what I called a pataco. And then, Taco Bell decided that the potato part of that wasn't necessary anymore. And then fans got mad at him. They got very mad at Taco Bell.
Well, that's weird because I seldom see people angry on the internet.
Never, ever, right? So Taco Bell has confirmed that potatoes are returning to Taco Bell menus starting on March 11th. And it should be everything that was there in the first place, for potato items, all that stuff should be coming back.
So they say that this was just a way for them to streamline operations during the pandemic. So... it was a pandemic thing. We were never taking them away forever. We were always coming back. We're always going to come back.
Despite them being, I thought, kind of vocal that they were taking it away. They just wanted to sell, the main items. And Is it Yum Yum brand who owns Taco Bell?
It is.
They kind of got rid of potatoes like everywhere. So we were like, are potatoes that expensive? But they wanted to streamline that stuff out. But like we mentioned, people were upset about losing it from the menu. So now you'll get it back.
Yeah, because they did that at KFC as well, right?
They changed the fries.
Okay. Do they still sell potato wedges?
No, I think they moved it to like
the fries?
Is it a crinkle cut? Is that what it's called? But they changed it to a traditional, more normal type of fry, not the wedges. And we thought, there's just, again, changes with potato stuff.
Just a heads up, y'all. Crinkle cut's never the answer. I know you
like
think it is.
Crinkle cut? Oh, it's good.
I mean, okay. Listen, I'll eat a crinkle cut fry, okay? But I don't prefer a crinkle wink. I don't like those as much.
Okay, well then you don't deserve them because they're delicious. Well, they get crispy. I mean, it's a perfect shape.
Well, it shouldn't surprise me that you're a fan because what do you like when it comes to potato chips?
I like wavy potato chips. If there's no wave, I don't want it.
Give this girl a wave.
Is it texture then? I like crinkle and I like wave. That's about it.
Nikki just likes when she puts it on her tongue. She wants to feel like she's on the beach.
I want something else on there.
Up and down.
So Taco Bell's other announcement, besides potatoes coming back on March 11th, is they are adding plant-based meat. So they're going to be adding Beyond Meat to Taco Bell, and that was their other news.
Nah, I'm still out on it.
Well, that's their collaboration. People were wondering, though, where Taco Bell would go. Like, would they do Impossible or would they do Beyond? And that's what they've chosen.
Okay. Well, you know what? I wish all of you that are looking for a meat-based alternative the best of luck. As far as I'm concerned, Taco Bell has been a meat-based alternative this entire time.
Well, if you are someone who wanted
a plant-based meat alternative.
If you wanted plant-based and you loved the potatoes, then this is probably the best day ever. And you loved Taco Bell, you're finally getting all this stuff. You'll have the perfect combination.
Yeah! You were one of the lucky few who missed the riot when they were live. Yet here you are.
I also like to live dangerously.
This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
I had a donation a couple of, was it a year ago? Must have been 2 years ago, a year and a half. There was a couple that very generously provided a chair for me in my basement. And I appreciate it so much. They were an Eric and Nikki.
We found there's this auction site because people were like, wow, why would you guys give him such an expensive chair? But there was an auction site in our area where you can get really good deals on things. And I don't know where it came from, but there was like a bunch of them, which means somewhere, someplace had extra chairs. And so it was a super good deal. And Obi wanted a gaming chair. So it's one of those styles. So we got it and brought it to him.
It's been great, and but every once in a while, it needs tightened back down.
Yeah.
Chairs are like that. No big deal. So I was off air. You couldn't be a part of it, but I was rooting through these. I think you call them Allen wrenches that I had sitting here, and I was trying to find the right size. And not once, but twice, I managed to drop my Allen wrench in my open soda that I have sitting next to me.
I wonder where you. I heard all this commotion. I was like, wow, I thought you spilled your coffee, but you dropped the Allen wrench thing into your soda?
Yes, and then I got it out, and I was like, ha, that's funny. You made a mistake. And then after I did it again, it was just like, why do I persist in making the same mistake? Why did I not?
You didn't learn?
Make the necessary? No, I didn't. That's what I thought. It's like, it was a minor adjustment. We could have just moved slightly to the left, and we would no longer be in danger of, I don't know, dropping filthy metal inside our beverage. But no. I had to do it again.
And you talked earlier with the show. Remember, we were supposed to put lids on things, even though,
yes.
No matter where you're broadcasting or where you're at, we still think lids on a drink would be a good call. Now the question is, you're going to drink your soda or is it gone?
Whatever.
Are you going to drink it? The thing fell in it twice.
Here we go.
He's just going to drink it. He doesn't care. Actually, maybe that's a good, an extra metal that your body needs.
Yeah, you're taking iron pills. I'm just licking it.
There's no
big
difference.
Deal. What? It's not as pretty, but it's fine.
Well,
no big deal.
It's not as bad. I thought you were going to tell me you just spilled stuff everywhere. But if it just fell in there a few times, that it could be worse.
Though, frankly, now that you're saying that, and I've already been taught twice, maybe 3 times about the open lids, it's probably time for me to get a lid, okay?
Obi is still broadcasting from home until he feels a little bit better. And then on Monday, just a heads up, too, worst of Riot, since we will not be in that day, we have the day off, and then we'll be back. Maybe you'll be back in the studio on Tuesday, where you definitely have to have a lid on your cup.
Yeah, I know. You know what? I'm not planning on...
Ever coming back?
Returning to, no, like never. I'm just going to continue to ask friends and family to throw food down the hole, and I'll just be here.
Okay. Well, I mean, is that the plan? We're supposed
Doesn't have to be weird. It's fine.
No, eventually we'll see you one day, but until Obi does feel better, he has to wait to come back.
Gets to.
Which is why he's at home, which is why he's in the gaming chair, which is why he was trying to tighten it up, which is why he has a beverage there that does not have a lid, and that's why this whole thing happened.
And it's why his Diet Mountain Dew now tastes like metal.
Maybe the Riot would sound better if they spent less time improving their lives at their gym. That was sarcasm. It's the Riot on Radio U.
Nikki, I'm not trying to make you feel jealous, but I do feel like I need to let you know that my copy of Spartacus did show up.
Wow.
So
and in time for the weekend, right? Aren't you lucky? Oh, boy.
Wow.
If you recall, earlier this week, we were talking about, Obi has a real fondness for older movies, especially ones that have been restored, and people start talking about how amazing the restoration is. And Spartacus is one that everybody was talking, not everybody, people in that world of that
community.
That's good. In that community, we're talking about Spartacus, even though you never seen it, but it was on sale. So he got that to check out in 4K.
Yeah, it's going to be great. And you know what, Nikki, if you want to put on a hazmat suit and come over and watch it with me, you're totally welcome.
Why not? Well, I don't even want to borrow it. I've never seen Spartacus, but maybe it's
me
good.
Either.
You let me know how it is, and maybe I'll watch it after.
Okay, first off, we both know you won't, and second, I haven't seen it, so maybe I'll feel as if I have thrown my money in the trash. Though I'll have to say, okay, I love streaming services. Sure, they're great, but how often do you want to watch a movie that's not on anything? Mm-hmm. So if you want to watch it, you've either got to buy it or stream it, and so and by that, I mean, you've got to buy it on streaming. It's not like there's a copy to be had anywhere. And so a lot of times it's like you can rent it for $7.99 or $6.99. What in the heck is the deal with those rental prices? $7 to rent this movie? Hey, come on.
Okay, you sound like Grumpy Obi. It's only $7. But your thing is that if they're selling it for $10, why don't you just buy it for the couple extra dollars, and then you could sell it afterwards, or if you end up liking it, then you don't have to rent it again.
Well, you know what? You're right. And I'm revealing, one, I'm a cheapskate, and two, it's so dumb, but things like movies and video games, it's not enough to get the item. I have to get a good price on it. It's a game I like to play.
And
it is.
It seems like that was managed with Spartacus. So give us your take on it. Again, we're not in on Monday, but give us your take next week on it if you end up watching it.
Well, that hurt a little bit.
It's not a mean comment, but sometimes you keep it safe in the wrapping of it and you don't open it, and it stays that way. So we'll see if you watch it.
I'm going over there to open it right now.
Well, okay.
Just
way to go. Well, you got me there. I mean, you open it to actually watch it, but I'm sure you'll watch it. You seem excited about it.
No, now you're escalating your game. You said just open it, okay?
You didn't say I actually have to watch it.
Nobody said that.
The Riot really wanted to do this live, but now they can play video games and eat rice cakes instead. This is the worst of the Riot podcast.
Nikki, Google bought Fitbit.
Hey, Google bought Fitbit. Okay, that's interesting. I'm trying to remember, I guess Fitbit, which we've never had, or you've never had a Fitbit, have you?
No, I have not.
I was trying to think like, oh, who owned them before? But it was just Fitbit. So now a bigger company has bought them. For some reason, I was thinking Amazon had bought them because Amazon came out with their own line of like fitwear for, electronics and stuff. But Google now has Fitbit. So what do they plan on doing?
Well, they say nothing. They say that, Fitbit will not be sharing your information with Google.
Yeah, they don't have to share anymore because they own them. So,
man, Nikki, fist bump from miles away because that's exactly what I thought. I was like, yeah, it's not sharing. They own it. It's theirs now. So,
do you see the wordplay that they're playing with us? Like, that they're going to get all the information from it. That's why they bought them in the first place.
Right. Or, a lot of times when they buy a company like this, they buy out people's contracts. So people will have like a year or two that they have to work there. And then as soon as they leave, they just undo everything they promised those people.
Pretty much.
But they got paid and they don't care. That's just the way it works, guys. So that was the one thing that came out of it where I rolled my eyes so hard they got stuck. Was just like, oh, yeah, Google doesn't want any of that fitness data. Not at all.
That's what is attractive about Fitbit. All the health and the research and the stuff that you've been sending them. That's what's attractive to Google. That's, of course, what they're buying from the company. So, yeah, your information will all go to them.
That's exactly right. So help me out, Nikki. Did you have a Fitbit?
I did not. What was the one I first had? Nike had one for like a moment, and that thing was like a bangle that you would wear and it would light up.
Yeah.
Do you remember that? That was actually a pretty neat. Yes.
Yeah.
Do you remember?
I do remember that.
So then I had that, and then I just moved into an Apple Watch, and I've had that ever since.
Yeah, I looked at a potentially grabbing. I didn't really want like a full-blown Apple Watch kind of thing, but I looked at, after Christmas, picking up some kind of a watch to do fitness tracking. That was when I was allowed outside, and that was just a really narrow window, so I'm off that now.
So now you don't need a fitness tracker when you're just staying inside. No need for it.
It's fine. It's fine. Like, wow, look, you went up the stairs twice today. Aww. You're killing it.
Every time you want to get something along those lines, that's when something else happens in Obi's life that cancels what he was trying to do in the first place.
We would give the Riot flowers to show our appreciation, but Obadiah's probably allergic. What isn't he allergic to? This is the Riot on RadioU.
Somewhere in my memories.
Oh, boy.
Na, 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 na. Nikki, you can join in at any time.
Oh, I don't want to take away from your rendition of it. That's special. So I just want to make sure you have the moment for your Home Alone theme song. I haven't seen Home Alone 2 in forever. Is it the same theme song for Home Alone 2? Is it the same thing?
Yes, it is. Yeah, it is. It is. I have reached this weird point where I feel like I'm watching Home Alone 2 more than Home Alone.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. The other thing to me that's weird about it is that if you ask me like to list like my top 5 movies, Home Alone 2 wouldn't be on that list. But by virtue of watching it over and over again once a year, like we hit November to December, I probably watch it 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
Over time, I've probably seen Home Alone 2 a whole bunch.
But it's one we talk about the most. So I guess that's odd that 2 is the one you're actually watching more.
I don't know. It's basically a remake of the first one where they've kind of enlarged the stakes a little bit. And it has a moment that has become very politically charged. Nikki, I don't know if you're aware of this, but Donald Trump has a cameo in Home Alone 2.
I do remember. I've seen people talking about it again.
And this is where I want to hear some feedback on this, okay? I actually kind of don't want it to be... I don't know. I guess we can't avoid it. Maybe this is a dumb topic, but a lot of people are pushing to remove Trump from Home Alone 2, which to me feels like painting over the names at the pyramids, but whatever.
So it became trending to where even Macaulay Culkin had... Yeah, he tweeted that, it seems like he would be for that idea.
Yes, Nikki. And at first I was like, this is really stupid. And then Macaulay himself, Kevin McAllister, had a suggestion for what they would do, and it blew my mind. Did you see it?
I didn't see his suggestion. I just thought it was, just cut it out.
Oh, are you sitting? Yeah, you're sitting down. Okay. I've had to ask that twice this morning. It's been really heavy.
Oh, is it the one thing with the face changing thing?
Yep.
Is that it? Seriously? What is that term for where, you can easily change?
Deep fake?
That's it. So they think they should just do that with who?
With him. With adult Macaulay Culkin.
Oh, that's weird.
So, Macaulay's, the article I read said he's 40. So they would CGI adult Macaulay Culkin in talking to a younger Macaulay Culkin. Nikki, that blows open the possibilities in the Home Alone universe.
I thought they just mentioned cutting it out because, people haven't really liked Trump as much during the entire presidency. So this Home Alone 2 thing is not just from recent things. They've been wanting him removed from that since he became president. So that's just always been something that floats back around every so often.
Well, again, I'm not like pro-Trump guy, whatever. I wasn't at the Capitol last week, but I think it's dumb to when they CGI stuff in movies, they shouldn't have had a gun there. It should have been a flashlight. Like that to me is just dumb. Movies are snapshots in time. They are what they are. But this thing about putting Macaulay Culkin, old Macaulay, in, you know what, Nikki, I'll tell you what. I just want to know how you guys feel about it. 877-2-RADIO-U. And then I'll explain to you
your feelings,
why I think this could transform it in an amazing way. Oh, yeah.
Using advanced technology, we've digitized and transcoded Obadiah and Nikki into a purely digital format. This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
So my question this morning is there's been for 4 years the talk of removing Donald Trump from Home Alone 2, because people don't like Trump, whatever. And I've just been like, for me, a lot of times I'm like, hey, leave the movie alone. It's the movie you made. Mm-hmm. Deal with your potentially poor choices. Like those were your choices. Okay. So I want to know what you guys think about it. And I've completely done an about face because Macaulay Culkin wants to put a CGI Macaulay Culkin, like himself, older, visiting his young self in Home Alone 2.
So it would be him imposed over Donald Trump's face, and then instead of cutting out the scene would still remain. So that was his idea that he came out with yesterday or the day before. So that's got people talking about it again.
1,000% on board, and I'll tell you why in a minute. David says, while the older Macaulay would be interesting, I think it just needs to be left alone, like Kevin.
Okay.
Very nice, David. Very nice.
Good job,
Jessica,
there.
I say keep Trump. You can't change a classic, but I'm intrigued by the idea of having adult Kevin to child Kevin. Trevor, then we get another Home Alone movie to expand the Home Alone universe. Trevor, you and I, we're on the same page, bro. Come on.
Well, they had talked about the Home Alone on Disney Plus, like a new TV show or a new version of it, but it won't be the same.
Aaron says, I'm all for it. He incited violence. Take him out. Randall says, feels a bit Spielbergian. I don't like Trump at all, but it seems a bit much, though I like the face swap. Andy, I'm with you. This is dumb. It sounds dumb, but guys.
So you're more intrigued because of what potentially that could do for if you just watch it. It feels like instead of just cutting it out and that be the entire version that everybody can get from now on, what if it was an alternate version that you could choose if you wanted instead of just taking away the other one? That way it's kind of everybody's included.
You buy the collector's edition, you get both. But check this out, Nikki.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so older Macaulay shows up and points Kevin in the right direction. We make the true Home Alone 3, in which we figure out, and I see this is where I'm open to a couple of ideas. One, what if the Wet Bandits were Terminators that were sent back to kill Kevin when he was young so he couldn't fight in the future?
That's one option.
It's an option. Two, what if it's one of those things where, and this is the part where there's the most play, is a character is introduced to adult Kevin, we don't know why, who explains to him like, oh, what? You think all those tricks when you were a kid actually worked the way they are? And older Kevin has to go back in time and help younger Kevin pull off his hijinks against the Wet Bandits. So it gives you a chance to revisit the old movie. So it's like, when he's, I don't know, throwing the paint cans, we see older Kevin is actually loading them with like lead or something.
That
See
could
what
be,
I'm saying?
I do. That could be an option with it. I feel like that has some potential to kind of bring Home Alone back since it's been, I don't know how long since it's been around.
Kevin, if you don't go back and help your younger self, you'll die. You'll disappear from existence. And it's not that Kevin is important. It's that his daughter is going to grow up and save the world.
Oh, my gosh. All right. Well, that's quite the story there.
Oh, and it's his daughter, his older daughter, who has come back and is like, Dad, we have to fix something. In the temporal wars, blah, 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 blah. Oh, yeah. Guys, I love this. Home Alone 3, it's coming.
So if you have
the real Home Alone 3.
If you have an opinion or a thought, you're welcome to text 877-2RADIO-U. Just include your name if you've never texted before.
Oh, man. I think it would be, it's perfect. It's perfect.
You're listening to The Riot. Let's all work together today to live life with the patience of a Nikki dealing with an Obadiah.
Gotta hang in there and get through it.
You're listening to The Riot.
We've been discussing the replacement of Donald Trump in Home Alone 2, which in some ways we haven't been in favor of, but we've stumbled upon Macaulay Culkin's idea of replacing him with an adult Kevin, which is the best idea in the history of film.
So They would just use CGI and they would make, his face be what Macaulay Culkin currently is. And then I think Obi's run with that where he just wants that to lead into another version of a Home Alone 3 of like what he always wanted. So I think it's turned from forget about 2, but what can you do with CGI and making a new one as a third one?
I'm just telling you, Nikki, that if you put adult Kevin in Home Alone 2, it blows open the timeline and enables us to do all kinds of things. I feel great about it. Nate says, I love this. In Home Alone 2, Donald Trump directs Kevin to go straight and turn left. If you watch the actual movie, you'll find Kevin turns right. I think it's appropriate that he doesn't follow Trump's orders.
He never did back then.
Oh, that's really funny. Dylan says, I see the story potential to do some Doc Brown level stuff. See, that's where we are. And Dane says, might as well include the DeLorean. I'm fine with that, Dane. All of a sudden, we have a Back to the Future Home Alone crossover event that could be huge. Jessica says she likes Nikki's idea of having 2 versions. You'd be able to watch it with Trump if you like him, without Trump if you don't.
Yeah.
Trevor says, oh, and Trevor, you're getting it, man. You're getting it. Kevin's a super weapon from the future. Maybe Kevin ascends to some level where he's able to see through space and time, travel through space and time, and he knows that he has to go back and help himself or he'll die. I love that. Nikki, it's great.
You know what, Obi? I haven't seen you this passionate about something in a while. You just seem really excited about it. It's like he really wants a new Home Alone. Really wants a new one.
Well, Nikki, I'll just tell you that it's not very often that I feel like an idea really grabs me.
I feel like it has.
They got me, guys. I'm on this.
So basically, just use whatever technology we have and just make a new movie out of what's already there. Just put something new together. We'll take it.
I think this is amazing. Now, Phil says there's fan theories in the original Home Alone that old man Marley is old Kevin, forcing him to reconnect with his family, and he's the one that saved him from Harry and Marv.
Mm-hmm. Did you just drop him? What'd you drop?
Well, that was the sound of I had something in my hand. I dropped it. I still have the Allen wrench, and my jaw just dropped open. Do you understand that old man? Oh, we've got middle-aged Kevin saving him in Home Alone 2 and old Kevin saving him in Home Alone 1.
Perfect. All right, well, these are all these ideas. So it feels like not just Obi, but a lot of you guys are passionate about taking this Home Alone stuff and morphing it into something new. For those that are like wanting it to be political, it doesn't seem like that at this point. We just want new Home Alone stuff.
Jeremiah says, I think you just need to rewatch the Terminator movies.
Yeah, for you might.
Look, Terminator, Maybe you're right. Maybe that's the answer. I just watch Terminator and shut up. I don't know, though. I see potential here. I do. And look, we're all locked up at home, so what else do we have?
Just think up more Home Alone theories and just send them out there.
You might be thinking that this won't be quite as bad the second time around. Well, you'd be greatly mistaken. You're listening to the Worst of the Riot podcast.
So, Nikki, how am I doing today? Has it been a little much?
Well, no, like your intensity or something.
Yeah, I'm just checking.
I don't think so. Obi is at home, still dealing, had COVID a while ago, but when COVID symptoms return again, if you don't feel good, you have to stay home, like if you get a fever or something. And I know you haven't been feeling the best, but I feel like you're maybe a little better than yesterday.
Okay. Well,
So,
that's
doing pretty good.
That's good.
I mean,
okay.
As best as you could feel.
I'm just wondering if I've been too mouthy or too.
Well, also it's Friday. That's going to happen anyways.
I did get lost a couple times while we were talking. That's my new trick.
It's the brain fog.
Yeah, it's real. Like, it's totally real. And I'll tell you, I have had these like recurrence of symptoms and I've had to stay home. Just a heads up, like, they don't know what to tell you about that. Like, if that happens to you, they're just like, you don't fit the narrative, so don't call back, please.
No, all they do is they just
they
tell you to
tell you.
Just stay home, and they hope it'll eventually stop, and then you don't have to ask them anymore.
That is literally what I'm getting is like, well, stay home. And I'm like, well, I can work from home. They don't really like it, but they let me.
But I mean, then the rest of the day you have to stay home too. Like it's not just during work stuff; it's the whole day. It's like you're having to be back in a quarantine.
I don't know. I am not as sick this time around, or whatever this is. Like, I'm really not. Like, I don't feel good, but I don't feel as bad as I did at certain points.
Yeah.
The other side of that is that I think that's making staying home more annoying. Because, like, now it's just like, what? Are you serious? I can't leave? Like, what am I supposed to do? It's fine. That's fine. I'll tell you what I'm doing. No, go ahead, Nikki. What were you going to say?
Oh, no, I was just saying thankfully you are doing better this time, but it's just the not knowing why you would have a symptom come back. And no one not really having the answer for you. It must just be super frustrating because now you have more time while you're still feeling better enough to think about it.
It is. It has been really frustrating. And you know what? Like, I want to be clear. Like, I'm not talking any trash about my doctor or the medical establishment. I know they're overworked. They got a lot going on. But probably my biggest issue is because whatever I have is not really life-threatening or whatever, it's like, hey, we have to work on people that are sick. You just stay home and we'll hope for the best because you're not dying. And I don't, again, not being sarcastic, but it does put you in this weird place where you're like, well, yeah, but how am I supposed to go get a 44-ounce Diet Coke?
Well, but the why is it happening? That's
right.
Also the bigger question, but hopefully you'll feel better and maybe you'll get to come back on Tuesday or whenever. No pressure, just whenever it is.
I really, really hope so.
Is it healthy eating so many snacks, chips, and Oreos every single morning? No, of course not. But they do it for you.
Too many guys got the stomach for this line of work.
That's real love. It's The Riot on RadioU.
All right, Nikki, let's talk about, it's something that I believe the kids like. It's called the video games.
Yes, I believe we all love it, and it's a big part of our day.
Actually, I think it's been funny over the last couple of years to watch how people's attitude towards games in general has changed. I think that's because your mom plays games on her phone now, so she doesn't have a lot of room to tell you,
about it. I think
to.
If we really found out, like we'd realize there's a lot of people who are, like you were saying, parents or aunts or uncles or people that maybe were a little looky downish at you for putting in some time with video games. But then once you realize, even as a mobile gamer, they probably clock in more time than you do.
Yes,
and they just
so true.
They never realize that, mobile gaming and all that stuff still counts and it's all the same.
Well, I've always been a player on PlayStation and Xbox, but I also play on Steam. Steam is where you buy games for a PC. It's kind of like an iTunes or Apple Music or, any kind of those digital storefronts. But they released their statistics yesterday about what we've been doing as far as playing video games. In 2019, Steam users clocked in a total of about 20.8 billion hours playing games.
Mm-hmm.
Wait for this, though.
Yeah.
2020, 31.3 billion. That is a 50% increase in the amount of gaming that was happening on Steam.
Now, of course, they're probably just saying because people were at home more, right? Or is it also in conjunction with having 2 new consoles and then the Switch resurgence that happened in the spring? Like, people were just playing a lot more. It was a space to, get away from all the COVID stuff. So it just was the thing to do last year.
Well, Nikki, keep in mind with what you just said there that these are numbers only for Steam.
Mm-hmm.
That wouldn't count if you were playing on the Switch.
Oh, yeah.
If you were playing on the PlayStation. So, I'm just thinking about how enormous the numbers would be if you could pull in the Switch numbers.
Yeah.
Man, that would be insane. How many hours did people play Animal Crossing in 2020? 400 bajillion million.
You're really curious and you kind of want to know, but then you don't really want to know the numbers. So you just rather not.
Yeah, game clocks, I think, sometimes are a little scary. I've been playing Immortals Phoenix Rising. I don't know that it's a sleeper hit, meaning I don't know if people love it, but I have loved it. I've had a ton of fun playing that game. I looked at my game clock last night, 40 hours.
Whoa.
I've been playing it for 5 weeks, but in 5 weeks, 6 weeks, I have clocked 40 hours in that game. Now, one of those weeks was a vacation, but still that's a lot.
It is. So they were saying with Steam, at least for that, the usage is way up, which we knew that.
Yes. They also said that in 2020, every month in 2020, they added an average of 2.6 million new users.
Mm-hmm.
So that means last year they had, somewhere in the neighborhood of 30 million people who had never used their system before signed up to use it. It's crazy, man. So I guess the future is video games and will continue to be so as long as we're not allowed to go outside. Just kidding. Even when you're allowed to go outside, that's what you'll be doing.
Well, now we're a year in and we're comfortable with what we're doing. So we're comfortable at home. You can't expect us to ever go back out quite the same. And now you don't have to feel bad if that's something that helps bring you a little bit of fun during the day. Video games are definitely up, and we'll see if we can even find the Switch or the PlayStation or Xbox numbers, down the road. But this was concerning Steam and its usage during last year.
Well, I'll tell you, Nikki, I was, the last time I was broadcasting at home, I was really careful to make sure I wore jeans every day to at least feel like,
you were
I was
working.
going to work.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm straight athleisure now.
If you missed out on the next Riot moment when it originally aired, you don't know how lucky you are. You're listening to the Worst of the Riot podcast.
So, Nikki, I don't know if you caught it, but President-elect Biden has unveiled his new COVID relief plan. Did you see that?
I did. Everybody's leading the story with, so that gives the $1,400 extra to make the $2,000 from the $600 everybody got for the relief package from the end of last year.
That's correct.
Mm-hmm.
So that means between the two of us, we're staring down a cool $2,800.
Yes, but
Dollaroos.
Before we go spend it, remember, it'll bite you. You got to watch. You got to save that money, and unless you need it for the actual help of bills and rent and stuff like that. But if you don't need it for that, you definitely need to save it.
Nikki, you need to take that money and put it into the economy.
It's tempting. It's so tempting. But, you just have to watch. Or, this we don't hear as often, but say you have a friend or a family member who maybe needs a little bit more of it than you do. You can also help lend or give that money to that person if they're in more of a difficult time than you are.
Okay, well, here we go. Some other things that you're going to find in that plan, which your plan is nice, Nikki, about sharing.
Yeah.
It's going to boost unemployment benefits by $400 a week. So that's substantial. It will increase some of the stuff. I don't know what it is. Payments for some things for $3,000 a year. Another big one, a big one.
This one's really big.
In this plan, it raises the federal minimum wage. So everybody everywhere, it raises minimum wage to $15 an hour.
Mm-hmm.
That is what is the current minimum wage? Isn't it like 9 something?
I don't remember.
Oh my gosh. It's federal minimum wage right now is $7.25 per hour.
Mm-hmm.
That would more than double minimum wage. That is really something. I don't know if that's a permanent
I think they've been
increase.
trying for a while for a permanent one.
Yeah, I know that's true. And I'll just tell you what, guys, this is going through. Like, anytime the new guy comes in, he gets, in a lot of cases, they get some political capital that lets them do something very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
If you've ever, like, even if at your job, if they hired a new manager, he can usually get one thing done before people are like, no, we're not doing that. So that's probably what this is. That is intense. That is intense. So no further comments, Your Honor.
There's a lot to that. So we're just mentioning the, yes, that would include the $1,400 extra from adding to the $600 that, again, everybody got a few weeks ago.
I'm not an economist, but I'll have to say I am slightly concerned about where inflation is going to go over the next few years.
Are people really still listening to the Riot? You don't have work to do or laundry to fold or literally anything else to do? The Riot, Radio U.
I was all primed for us to talk about the Consumer Electronics Show and something that Samsung unveiled yesterday.
Yeah.
They showed off their new Galaxy smartphone, which of course is an Android device, and it's the Galaxy S21 and the Galaxy S21 Plus. And I could tell you all about them, but let's just be honest, whatever. It's just another one of those.
Well, right? What do you mean? I saw a couple of videos on it. It seemed like Android users were kind of excited for it.
Well, the back of the phone looks like a spider at this point. It's got so many little holes for cameras that it's just like, what are we doing? That being said, the part that got me was not the fact, I'm sure, I guess I'm being whatever, but like, I'm sure the phone's fine. I'm sure it'll be faster. It'll take better pictures. It'll be the better, just like every year they put out a better phone. But what got me is that they were like, and now it's more affordable. $800, which yesterday.
It is more affordable than some of the other phones out there.
That's true. But here's where I'm coming from is that yesterday, Nikki, that seemed like an amount of money that was very unaffordable and way too much money. But with my Biden bucks potentially on the way,
now you could.
I could go pay cash for this thing.
You could spend money on that. $800. They are pointing that out as being more affordable than not just iPhones, but there are other phones that, cost up to $2,000 at this point. So that seems, it seems sad that it's cheaper. That's where we've gotten to.
That's what kills me. I can remember, and like, we're not talking about when I was your age. I'm talking like three years ago. When you would, if you paid $200 on contract, boy, that sure was a lot of money that you're putting into that phone. That $200. And now it's just like $200. What a piece of trash. If you're not spending $1,000, what's the point?
So this phone, so they didn't unveil this at CES, it looks like. They just did a Samsung Unpacked event yesterday, and that's where they were showing it. They're just doing it around CES time.
That's just one of those things where we're not a part of CES. We just did our press conference smack dab in the middle of the entire event.
But it's not their event.
Related.
Yeah, they want to make sure.
Don't be ridiculous.
Want to make sure you don't confuse that.
Well, good for us all, I suppose.
They also unveiled a $30 gadget that tracks your bags, wallets, and keys. They're releasing their own Pro earbuds, which will be like AirPods Pro. And that was a couple of, the tracking thing is called like AirTags. And then is it tiles? It's similar. Like they'll have their own version of what tiles are.
Yeah. What's a tile?
Tile are the little square things that you can attach to stuff to then be able to find it if you lose your wallet and stuff.
Right.
Yeah, those things.
I was thinking of a software thing where I was like, wait, is that something in iOS I'm not doing right now?
No, a physical tile in case you need to actually keep track of losing like your car keys or something.
Yeah, that's the hotness now. Like, it's becoming more and more mainstream. It started out like as a weird Kickstarter thing, but you grab these little things, you slap them on things you lose all the time, and it helps you find them. It's a GPS device. Well, is it GPS or is it like whatever it is? It's some kind of thing where it tracks it.
Yes, exactly. It'll just find its last location.
Worst of the Riot podcast.
So, Nikki, we were just talking about the difficulty of them putting hot dogs in my path every day on my way to work. But what if my work was hot dogs?
Oh, my gosh.
Whoa.
What does this mean? What is this about?
Well, here's what I kind of don't get is I'm staring at this press thing about the fact that the Oscar Mayer Weinermobile is hiring.
Yeah.
Aren't they hiring like every month? Like,
No.
I feel like every month you and I cover the story that they're looking for someone new to drive the Weinermobile.
They hire a crew for the summer. It's almost like your interns, but I'm sure you get paid or like travel's paid for. But they always around this time start the process of getting the hot dog car drivers. So it becomes a contest of sorts. So you have to send in your resume, and this is the time of the year they always do that. And that is the summer crew.
So here, actually, in this particular case, they hire you for an entire year.
Oh, you get the whole year. Okay.
Yeah, so in this case, they are looking for what they call their 34th class of hot doggers to journey the country in the Oscar Mayer Weinermobile. And you'll do everything from social media to, it's a whole promotions thing that you've got to do. Maybe even all the way down to driving the Weinermobile. They say approximately 200 events that you will do. And you have, what do we got here? Until January 31st to go ahead and apply. And they're going to start going through those applications and hire the new hot doggers.
If you win.
That job will start June of 2021.
So it goes June of this year through June of the following year. You get a 2-week training session. You'll represent the company, so you got to represent it well, remember. And then you'll go to media stuff, charity functions, celebrations. I thought growing up that the hot dog Weinermobile used to pass out hot dogs. Was that ever a thing, or was it just always like driving around and like hot dog whistles?
I think it's been hot dog whistles for a long time, though sometimes they will set up somewhere and set up a grill and hand out hot dogs.
Maybe that's what I remember, but you can't with COVID, so they're not doing that.
So they're not doing anything, probably. Or is it just that they're doing whistles now?
I don't know. We had the Weinermobile here in the RadioU area over the summer, and for some reason it spent like 4 weeks. It was at some hotel, so I don't know if it broke down or they travel around and do things and leave it there. If they have more than one that they drive around, I'm not sure how it really is all set up.
Yeah, I don't really know either, but I'll tell you this. You could be a part of the team, guys. This could be your thing. I will say, if you're in the right business, even if you were in college right now, totally be worth applying. Because seriously, I can't believe I'm like advocating for this, but the amount of experience that you would get setting up interviews, being interviewed, like all the stuff that you would have to do, I think that would be killer on a resume. Like, it would just be killer.
So Oscar Mayer says the longstanding mission of the Oscar Mayer Weinermobile has always been to spread smiles. We're looking forward to continuing this tradition and invite recent grads to submit their resumes for an opportunity to join the team of adventure-craving do-gooders, is what they say.
Man, that's incredible. And it's one of those things that would be an amazing opportunity. Plus, and just to be clear, they said they're spreading smiles, but they're really spreading hot dogs. But when I think about it, it's kind of the same thing.
The Riot RadioU.
We've talked about Valve's report. They're the people that make Steam. They say that last year, just computer video games. Keep in mind, this isn't going to be your Switch. It's not going to be your Xbox. It's not going to be your PlayStation. But they say on their service, people logged over 31 billion hours.
Yeah, that's billion.
In playing games.
That's a lot.
Billion hours.
But again, that's only computer gaming through Steam. There's so many more options, so you can only imagine how big that number really could be.
Well, I don't know how Julia got these statistics because, truthfully, I haven't played with my Switch much lately. One of my roommates kind of dominates the Switch, which I don't really care because, you can't play Phoenix Rising on the Switch. Actually, I think you can, but anyway. So Julia texted us, Nikki. Did you see what she said?
I did not see. What did she text?
She says that she got her stats from Nintendo.
Yeah.
And she played 2,000 hours on her Nintendo Switch last year.
That's amazing. It was all
something.
Animal Crossing.
She said most of it was spent on Animal Crossing.
You could really clock in some hours. That's why I wish I didn't start Animal Crossing till the summertime, but if I would have got in on it at the release earlier in the spring, some of you guys have just massive, massive islands, and you spent a lot of time on it, and it shows because it is amazing, but the hours get away from you before you realize you've been playing all night.
Now, doing the math on Julia here, she says that she spent 2,000 hours in a year. Now, if you take 2,000 hours and say how many work weeks is that? So let's say the average American does 40 hours a week, even though we know it's more like 75, right? But I'm working 5 jobs. I'm just trying to stay in. So you divide that up. That is 50 full-time work weeks.
Wow.
That Julia spent playing with her Nintendo Switch.
You wish you could get paid for it. You could get paid for all the hours.
That's amazing. Well, there's only 52 weeks in a year, so basically you worked full-time and got 2 weeks of vacation from your Switch.
If you ever need to put that on your resume, you should. I don't know how you'd make that work, but you put in enough hours, that shows you're dedicated.
Oh, I mean, to me, this just tells me somebody who can be consistent, somebody that's willing to put in the hours. I feel like you're what we're looking for. You're what everybody's looking for.
You're still creative, but you're dedicated.
But you also took those 2 weeks off, which tells me that you're dedicated to self-care.
Yeah.
So fantastic job, Julia.
Good job on that. Good job on all those hours.
The worst of the riot is over, but the fun can keep going.
Hey, I saw you checking out my goods.
Check the Riot blog or stalk us on social media.
You want to sample them? A little try before you buy, huh?
Through riot.radiou.com.
I like that country, man.